Hi, good morning. I'm Ronda Devine. Um, we just have a few things that we wanted to talk about this morning. And I also have with me Samantha Engstrom, who will also be speaking after Josh. We wanted to make sure everyone knew that we have a new student health branch. Jim Tackett is the manager, and Angie McDonald, who has been the nurse consultant, is still doing that position. But now we have 3 field staff that can help answer questions, come out to schools, and be that contact for the region. I'm sure that they've already reached out. I know Jim has a very nice map that shows the regions clearly. And if you go to the Student Health Services link that we've provided, you'll find some more information about that. We have attendance clerk trainings set up. They are free to all IC users. And we also have, we wanted to mention the KDPP conference is September 18th through the 20th at Griffin Gate. And we will also be doing a couple of different trainings there, working with Brent Lynch on that. We now call Interchange the Winter Change, and that will be December 5th through the 6th at the Omni Hotel. Currently, the pupil attendance manual, I'm still updating it, and it's got different sections from all throughout KDE. So once all the updates have been made, we'll get that out. I'm hoping by the 1st of August, we'll have that on our website for you. And all of the KSIS data standards, we've also included the link for that. And I know that Josh has been working on attendance clerk trainings and setting those up. He has a few listed here, and he's also broken it down to 2 sessions. It was very well received the last couple of years, and so we encourage attendance clerks to come out to a training. We've tried to set them up throughout the state to make it a little bit more convenient for people, but I believe Josh is still working on some scheduling, but he has his current and what he has set is listed here, and I don't think he has any more than that, but he'll be able to tell you.
Real fast on that, the link should be coming out pretty soon, hopefully by the end of the week for that as well, for you to start registering your attendance clerks and DPPs and principals.
Okay, thank you, Josh. All right. Also, we have those attendance review trainings, and those are going to be through this month and August and September. They are set regionally, but you can still attend if you can't make one of the sessions, you can go to a different region, and they're all basically the same. They're just presented by the regional staff person in your area. And I've got their names here at the bottom, but we've got their schedules. So there is Sasha Reinhardt, who's our Eastern Region Attendance Auditor, and she has a few listed here. She also has a few more that she has gotten set up that's not on the list, and she has been reaching out to DPPs. She also has a link that you can fill out. I'll be sending out another email that has all 3. So in case you can't go to one in your region, you can always attend someone else's. And then the central is Becky Walsh, and she has a few, I think she has a few more. And again, she has been sending out information to DPPs. And Ruth has her training registration link listed. I know Sasha and Becky also have links as well, but you can see what we've got set up for the Western region. And we also wanted to just mention for if you have students that are in the School for the Deaf or School for the Blind, that you can track these students in making them a secondary enrollment, so they won't have the schedule or attendance, but you can still track them. And your transportation funding, there's a form that you fill out and you can get reimbursement for that. And then we also wanted to make sure that everyone knew that if you have these students, that resident district is involved and part of the ARC meeting. And that's all I really had for my section. And I'm going to turn it over to Josh. Thank you.
All right, so just a couple of attendance reminders as your district is getting started. We want to make sure that to keep in mind the attendance requirements. Daily attendance must be taken every single day on every single student. This is going to basically fall on your classroom teachers and your attendance clerks. If you're a DPP or a principal listening, make sure that you are stressing this to your faculty and staff that attendance must be taken on all students. Elementary school teachers, they must take attendance at the beginning of the school day. So when that bell rings for school to start, those teachers must take attendance on those students. Middle school and high school school teachers, they have to take period attendance throughout the day. So when that bell rings and they go move to second period, that second period teacher must take attendance. Our recommendation is within the first 5. If you've been in my attendance clerks training, you know I always say there's no excuses for taking attendance. Infinite Campus has made it very easy for us to take attendance, as far as it's on the laptop, iPad, phones, or whatever. It all looks the same across all devices now. So again, there's no excuses for those teachers not to take attendance. And then if the student is checking in or out, that is going to be maintained by your attendance clerks or your front office staff to make sure that those are put in correctly. Your no-shows, again, we do have the no-show guidance document. It can be found on our KSIS data standard webpage. We do have some examples on when and how to mark your no-shows. Again, if the student ended the school year with you on the 23-24 school year and they do not show up on the first day of school for the 24-25 school year, that is a no-show, okay? No matter what it is, it's a no-show, and then you're going to put the appropriate encode status. If that student is leaving the district and going to another district, or they've moved out of state of country, you're going to put that in there as the end status as well. Again, the start date and end date is going to be the first day of school, with the start status no show and the check boxes no show. The only time that we do allow you to delete an enrollment is if the student is in the same district but going to a different school within that district. Then we'll more than likely you as the DPP or the KSIS admin, you're going to delete that enrollment and put the new enrollment in so that attendance clerk and principal can see that enrollment. But again, that's the only time that we do allow you to delete an enrollment. Again, there is the link there for the no-show guidance on that as well. Again, your check-in, check-outs, and your withdrawal codes, again, that's maintained by your front office staff or your guidance counselors as far as the withdrawal codes. Make sure that sign-in, sign-out is there at the front desk with your attendance clerk or front office staff, and that you are putting that in Infinite Campus and making sure those times are correct. Again, that's our number one finding. You'll hear our field staff lecture on that a lot, to make sure that that information is correct. It's what the parent puts down on that paper is what's inside of Infinite Campus. The mainly reason is the safety, but again, 1 or 2 minutes can make the biggest difference on your funding as far as that whole day, half day time zone there. So we want to make sure that you are putting that time in there correctly. We do ask you that you look at the pupil attendance manual and the enrollment data standard for the withdrawal codes. There's many listed, and so we want to make sure that you're using the appropriate one for that as well. Transportation codes. Again, this is another big thing for your funding wise. You want to make sure that you are checking all your attendance codes as the school year is starting. We do recommend that you do that twice a year. That's when school is starting. And then usually once the second semester is started as well. Again, January, February, we're asking that you to go back and look at your T codes and make sure that you're getting the correct funding. Because again, if they're a T2 and they switch to a T1, we're going to be able to bump you up to give you more funding. Keep in mind, students who are the virtual students, you cannot collect transportation because you're not transporting those students. So they must be marked as an NT as non-transportation. Ronda and I will be meeting with transportation directors, I think at the end of this month. We do go through the transportation codes with them, some reporting. So they may be reaching out to you, DPPs and KSIS admins to say, hey, let's look at our T codes to make sure what you have in Infinite Campus is what we have on our bus manifest here at the transportation office. Because again, if that student is riding once or twice a week, that district and school bus has to keep that seat open. So we want to fund you for that. So make sure that you are working with your transportation directors to make sure you're getting the maximum funding. Child of district employee, again, this is nice, relied on your attendance clerks or front office staff. We want to make sure that we're tracking those students. Again, that's a Infinite Campus flag. It's called CDE, Child of District Employee. The start date is usually when at the beginning of the school year. So again, you want to make sure that that's set up correctly. There's an ad hoc in there that you can pull on that. Keep in mind, if you have students that live inside your district and the parent is working for your district, do not put them as a CDE child or CDE child of district employee. We only want the ones that are outside your district and not inside your district. It's one of the reports that we pull here at KDE to make sure that that is correct. Partial day, partial week, you want to make sure that those are set up correctly. There's the guidance there at the bottom. It goes step by step on how to make sure that those are set up correctly. Again, partial day is an attendance group, partial week is an attendance code. Make sure that you are looking at your state mapped attendance codes to make sure that they are set up correctly. I will say we have pulled a list here at KDE of the exempt attendance codes, so our field staff will be reaching out to you to make sure that those are being used correctly as well. Hopefully you are using the home hospital validation report. This is a new report that came out last year. So make sure that it's under Kentucky State Reporting, KDE reports, and home hospital validation. There's the QRC there, quick reference card for information on that. I will say in the last release, 24-23, our friend at Fayette County Public Schools, they brought this to our attention. So we want to make sure that when you're going into school months, it does look a little different. You're not going to have to put anything extra in. It automatically calculates for you. We did put the release notes there that's talking about it. But the one thing you will see there is in the middle is days. That's the number of instructional days. So just want to draw your attention to that when you do go into school months, that you will see that looks a little different. All right, Sam, you're up.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Samantha Engstrom, and I work with enrollment issues and FRAM at risk, various data issues. And we're just going to go over a few things today. The duplicate student record issues and FRAM is just a quick overview of both. So when I say duplicate student records, I mean that two students are sharing the same SSID. District clerks, when they are entering information for a student, when they're enrolling a student, they need to make sure, excuse me, they need to make sure that they search the student in Student Locator. Always, every single time, even if the parent says that the student has never been in Kentucky, that the kid has coming for any time, always use the locator. It's just a good habit to get into. That way you can prevent these kind of records from becoming duplicated. Okay, so if you find that there's a combined student in your district, so if you have one student that has two separate SSIDs in your district, that is something that the district has to take care of. And if you need further information on how to use the combined person tool, you can contact me. I will be happy to help you, but that is something that has to be done in the district, and only combine students if you are 100% sure that the two records go for the same student. Do not combine. If you have a question, if you aren't sure, don't combine them, because if you do combine students that are not the same student, Infinite Campus is going to have to do that for you. They're going to have to split those students back out for you, and they charge a fee to do that. So what happens if you do find a duplicate student or a student sharing an SSID in your district that is sharing one with a student from another district? So those SSIDs are duplicated in state edition, or they are combined in state edition. And I usually refer to them as combined. Sometimes I refer to them as blended records if they're interchangeable. And if you find something like that, I have to fix those. And I encourage you to use the Google form that I created. You can find the link. It will be on this slide presentation. It's in various KSIS newsletters. If you email me, it's in my email signature. Only 25% of districts are currently using the Google form, so I really encourage more people to do it. It helps me track what's going on in the districts. It helps with, it just helps with a variety of things. And I just encourage everybody to use that. And if there are issues, if there are issues that you find that are the student locators not working properly, if you find an ambiguous SSID, which isn't very common, but it could happen. Or the most common, if you find a pending SSID, if you have one of those that just says pending for more than 48 hours, then that is something that you have to contact Infinite Campus, because they have to fix that for you. But sometimes the pending SSID, they usually clear themselves up. But if it lasts for more than 48 hours, that is something that campus will have to fix. Okay, so we're going to change course here to FRAM. So the 2024-2025 household income data will be collected for funding purposes this year. HIFs should be processed through the FRAM module and Infinite Campus. DC files need to be updated monthly. HIFs should be entered prior to October 1st for the E-rate calculation. And we suggest October 1st because that maximizes the chances of getting the highest number for funding for E-rate possible. So you don't have to have it in by October 1st, but you are strongly encouraged because it will benefit your district if you have them in by October 1st. Okay, so for electronic processing for full CEP districts, HIF processing can be completed electronically through FRAM processing and IC, but you will need to contact Infinite Campus with a support ticket to set that up for you. So for partial districts, since you don't have the same options, obviously, as the full CEP district, but you have a few options available to you, you can create an online registration form that mimics the HIF with an electronic signature. You can create a custom form in Campus and send that through the parent portal so they can sign it electronically. or you could create an online registration page where parents can upload the form themselves. So for non-CEP districts, once again, they're required to complete USDA forms to feed students for the 2024-2025 school year. The statewide POS system, many districts have transitioned to a new statewide POS system, Heartland Mosaic system, and please reach out to your district's food service director for more information. Or if you have other issues, if your food service director has issues you want to contact, you can see the names on the screen there. And for additional resources regarding FRAM, you want to go to our CEP page at KDE, or you can always contact me. I'm happy to help, direct you to wherever you need to be directed. But that's all for me. So I guess back to you, Dee Dee.
Thank you, Samantha. And we do have some questions for your team. So I want to go ahead and get through a couple of those. We're really into our break time. So those of you that want to stick around for a break, but Josh, Samantha, Rhonda, if you're willing, I guess we can go ahead and take some of the questions. And we will also put answers in here later. So are we using the home hospital paperwork labeled with the year 2021 at the top? Do you know?
I'll have to look at I think we have a newer one that's out, but I need to verify that. If you go there,
the newest one is on our home hospital page. So if you go to the KDE website, it is whatever that form that's listed, then that is the newest form. And I do believe it is 2021. Yeah.
So when a student is enrolling from another district, we find the previous district had the incorrect birthday. What is the best way to get it corrected?
For something like that, so if they know that it's incorrect, you can contact the other district, excuse me, and they can fix it on their end, because I think that will stop them from being able to pull that student into your district because the information won't match. Otherwise, if they don't fix it, if you put in the correct one, then you'll have to go through the combining record. So, I mean, there's no really good way for you to easily fix it, but yeah, it's not a straightforward fix, I guess. But yeah, you want to contact the other district is what the short answer.
So there was a question about, would there be a virtual option for your attendance training?
So,
I'm sorry, Josh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So we do, as of right now, we do not have a virtual option right now for the attendance clerk training. They are in person only, just as the last 2 to 3 years that we've been doing this. I will say, if we see a need for virtual option, we may offer that. But as of right now, no, we do not have a virtual option.
I think the concern here that's expressed is, some of the training is right near the start of school, so that would be hard to let somebody go out of the school.
I agree with you 100%. When I polled last year, everyone wanted in the month of August, so that's how we're trying to set those, because that's what the district's requested.
Okay. So are exempt codes allowed to be used on the first day of school?
No, if the student is not physically in the building, the teacher and staff must see that student for that enrollment to start.
It's a no-show.
Correct.
All right, this seems like a big question. What is the best way to ensure maximum attendance funding for students that check in and out during the day?
So once we update the pupil attendance manual, Rhonda has got that in there. It's got a breakdown of the whole day, half day of the percentages. And again, we're going to do old school and have to figure that up as far as your percentages to make sure that you give those times to your attendance clerks.
So we are having an influx of K through 12 students that our special education department is asking us to enroll in enrollments. as they evaluate the student. When the student then transfers to primary, it affects attendance reports. Is there a solution?
That's one that we're going to have to look at individual basis on that, just because it gets a little tricky as far as your coding wise. So I can't really give you a straight answer on how to fix that, because again, no district is set up the same.
And I would, just suggest, just reach out to us independently, just send an email and we will work with you on that.
Okay. Are full CEP districts required to fill out paper FRAM forms?
No, they're not.
It's electronic.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's an electronic form for that. Okay. But they do have to have some type of collection of that information, correct?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
What if a student only has a few virtual performance-based classes? Can it still add a T code?
So if the student is coming into the district and is being transported by the school bus, then yes, we can give you transportation on that.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the SSID issues Google form?
I've added the link to Go Soapbox, so people should be able to find it there. Or again, if you go through KSIS newsletters, there'll probably be one coming up in one of the next few newsletters. And I've put it in maybe 3 of the newsletters in the past, so you can just go search there.
It is always listed on the KSIS other information page too. So it's always there. So you can go one place to get it.
What is the difference in processing a HIF form using IC? There is an eligibility and a household application.
I would say it's easier to process it in Infinite Campus because it's more streamlined. If anybody, Jessi, if you want to jump in and
Sure. I'll jump in here. I think what their question there is with the different language eligibility in Infinite Campus usually identifies that USDA form, and and when we talk about them differently, in campus it's the different language. They will call what we call a HIF form, they will call an educational benefits form. And the reason we talk about you have to be all CEP is because you can't have both a USDA form for eligibility and an educational benefits form, which we use as a household application. So there'll be 2 toggle buttons there, and that's what you have to select from. If you're a full CEP district, you want to use that. I just got my words sideways. You'll want to use that educational benefits form to identify it as a CEP school and as a household application. I hope that makes sense. If you want to reach out to us and we'll show you the screen that can kind of differentiate between the 2.
Right. Thank you. And Samantha, I think there's a follow-up, another suggestion that maybe an email go out to all the DPPs with the Google form information. So I think you'll see that when you review this.
okay, I'd be happy to do that.
What is the report we need to run to look for duplicate students?
It's the duplicate student report. If you go into Infinite Campus under student information and then reports, you'll see the duplicate student search report right there. And I encourage people to run it once a month at least, just to make sure you don't get a bunch of stuff going on. So just suggestion.